Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to the top selling games of the month of August 2018. Now, when we look at these stats, we're looking at them from the perspective of Cool Stuff Inc., which is the largest and best online retailer for board games. So I'm going by their stats. So obviously realize a lot of things come into play, but it's always interesting to me to see what games do well and which ones, sell better than the rest. So we're going by numbers. Sometimes the actual amount sold is interesting. I'll mention that, but this is by units sold. So number 10 is Rise of Queensdale. Z Garcia and I were talking about this. We were kind of surprised that it isn't hotter. It's a legacy game, and we figured that would kind of blow the roof off, and it seems to be doing well, but I don't know. It's a pretty solid game. You can check out our review of it. Number 9, Century Eastern Wonders. Of course, Century Spice Roads did really well, so we figured a sequel would do just as well. Number 8, Gloomhaven. Still managing to sit pretty high on the list. In fact, Gloomhaven is still number 1 for amount of money sold, total amount earned. So that's pretty high up there, but for per numbers sold, it's at 8. Number 7 is Agricola All Creatures, Big and Small, Big Box. A ridiculously long title for a game that doesn't need one that long. Number 6 is the legendary 10th anniversary deck building game. This one is based on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so obviously as popular as that is, and of course legendary is a really good game. Number 5 is Villainous. Now this one is not really surprising as much. I'm just glad to see this one on the list. It's a not mass market game, but definitely catering, where you're playing one of the villains in Disney against other villains, and that's pretty neat to see that people like it, and it's pretty neat to see that it's a solid game. Number 4, My Little Scythe, the children's game version of Scythe, which has done really well and is a really great game. Number 3, Targi. Now this one surprised me. This 2-player game, which isn't even a new game. It's a reprint of an older trading game. I don't remember how old it is, but several years old now, where they reprinted it. Great game. Number 2, falling from number 1 for the last few months, is Azul. Still very high up there. Still a game that people obviously are really adoring and loving. This tile laying game. And then number 1, shooting to the top of the list here, from Portal Games, Detective. Now this is a cooperative go through and solve a mystery, kind of like an updated Sherlock Holmes consulting detective, except that there's a lot more going on. You're using the computer and the internet to find clues. Really neat game, and I'm kind of surprised though it's number 1. Other games that are incidental to mention, per amount of money sold, Container is number 11 because that's such a big game. And Gizmos only hit the list at number 22, which is surprising me because I thought that game would be a bigger splash. All right, top 5 expansions. Number 5, Time Stories Brotherhood of the Coast. Time Stories may not be as strong as it once was, but each module is going to do well in a pirate one. Big surprise there. Number 4, Imperial Assault Tyrants of Lothal. So Star Wars still has strong legs there. Imperial Assault is not being talked about as much, but hey, more stuff, people are going to like it. Number 3, Age of Giants. This is an expansion for King Domino, which is, you can put the boxes next to each other, they line up, so people like Age of King Domino, and so this expansion will help out with that. It's also an expansion for Queen Domino, incidentally. Number 2 is Terraforming Mars Prelude, a very small expansion. If you saw my review of it, a very necessary expansion. I love this expansion a lot. Just gives you a nice starting setup. Really cool. And then number 1 for expansions in both categories, number of units sold and money, is Rise of Fenris for Scythe. Another fantastic expansion, one of my favorite expansions I've ever played in my life. Adds a campaign system and a whole bunch of cool modules to Scythe. Really upping the ante. Those are the top-selling games and expansions of August 2018. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vasel, and this has been the Dice Tower.